A Shot to Die For, the Ellie Foreman Mystery Series, the Ellie Foreman Mysteries, Book 4. Written by Libby Fischer Hellmann. Narrated by Nan Mcnamara. For Dean and Stephen playmates, support group, and all-around extraordinary siblings. 8 children were at play, 7 sisters and their brother. Suddenly the boy was struck dumb. He trembled and began to run upon his hands and feet. His fingers became closed, and his body was covered with fur. Directly there was a bear where the boy had been. The sisters were terrified. They ran, and the bear after them. They came to the stump of a great tree, and the tree spoke to them. It bade them climb upon it, and as they did so, it began to rise into the air. The bear came to kill them, but they were just beyond its reach. It reared against the tree and scored the bark all around with its claws. The 7 sisters were born into the sky, and they became the stars of the Big Dipper. N. Scott Momaday, The Way to Rainy Mountain. Chapter 1. "What do you mean you're not coming? You were supposed to meet me. We had a date." With each syllable, the woman's voice slid up the register toward hysteria. I slowed. I was walking toward the Lake Forest rest stop, an oasis we call them here, just off the interstate near the Wisconsin state line. The woman was talking on her cell phone about 30 feet away, but her voice carried clearly. "How could you do this to me after all our plans? You knew I'd be stranded." A man with a buzz cut and horn-rimmed glasses stood near the entrance, his hands in his pockets. He stepped aside as I approached. "Look, I can't talk long. I borrowed a cell." There was a pause. "Mine's out of juice." A tall, striking woman, who appeared to be somewhere in her 30s, the woman on the phone wore a white t-shirt, khaki miniskirt, and sandals. Her shoulder-length hair, held off her face by a wide headband and a pair of shades, was a glossy black. Blue highlights glinted when she moved her head. I went inside the building, which, since its multi-million-dollar renovation, looked more like an airport terminal than one of the antiseptic fast food places that used to commandeer pit stops on the highway. Donuts, pizza, coffee, and Chinese food beckoned me from cheerful kiosks, and it took all my resolve to resist them. I was tired, having spent the day scouting locations for a video about the Lodge, a luxury resort in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. I'd stopped in for a cold drink before heading home to Rachel, my 15-year-old, who was in the midst of a "what am I going to do all summer since I'm too old for camp?" crisis. I bought a Diet Coke, eyed the Krispy Kremes, and quickly headed back outside. A Thursday evening in the 3rd week of June, it had been a hot and humid day. Now, though, a cool front was pushing through, and a breeze was chasing away the heat. The woman was still on the cell. "I know. I'm sorry, too. I hate it when we fight." There was a pause. "I realize that. It's just... well, this has been a shitty day." The man who'd been standing near the entrance had his back to her as though he was trying not to listen to her conversation. "I can't. My cell is out of juice," she repeated. "Okay, thanks. I'll be waiting. Please come soon." The woman disconnected and looked around. Spotting the man at the entrance, she walked over and handed him the cell. "Thank you. You've been very kind." The man pocketed the cell. "No problem. I hope everything works out." "I'm sure it will." She smiled. "Hope you catch some big ones." The man raised his hand and started across to the parking lot. The woman went inside. I looked at my watch. Almost 7. I wondered if Rachel had eaten. Maybe I should go back in and pick up a pizza. For now, though, I lingered outside with my drink, letting the cool breeze wash over me. I was just about to go when the woman came back out, carrying a drink. She walked over to a 3-foot-high brick wall that ran between the building and the parking lot. Turning her face into the wind, she lifted her hair off the back of her neck. "Feels good, doesn't it?" I said. She nodded. It had been hot in Lake Geneva. The breeze that
Sample complete. Ready to continue?